Hello everyone, I just started a live and I'm back. Got interrupted. I'm going to post this onto my YouTube channel, so if you're watching this on YouTube, then I'm not going to do a fancy introduction or anything like that. It'll just be up here for everyone to watch. If I mention a keyword to comment on and you're watching this on YouTube, just go to the show notes because it'll be pinned there and in the pinned comment. But I wanted to do a quick little live stream just to talk about weight loss confusion, calorie deficit, just kind of clearing up this whole confusion I think people are having. And honestly, if you go online and try to understand how to lose weight, there's so many different varying opinions. There's so many people that fight one another about it. There's just like, hey Becky, there's a lot of differing opinions, and it's really easy to get confused. And so yesterday on my Instagram here, I posted 10 slides, and only one of them really had to do with this whole idea of eating in a calorie deficit, but it caused a big uproar in my private community. Kind of messed up my Friday night, to be honest with you, because I was like, wow, I didn't know everyone was going to get so triggered by this. But what I essentially said in that post, which if you're watching this on Instagram, it's the post right before this one, was that there's no hack or shortcut to weight loss at the end of the day. Now, I'm going to talk about in this live stream a few things. Right, exactly. The only way to lose weight is eating less or taking in less energy than your body is currently producing. However, I do look at this a little bit differently than like the straightforward calorie bros, if you will, who say it doesn't matter what you eat, it doesn't matter when you eat, it doesn't matter, all these different things. I have a different take on that. So I wanted to go through that today on this live stream because, like I said, when I posted that 10 slide carousel last night, just kind of sharing with people, it created a lot of questions. And then I got a lot of messages from people who were like, Sarah, are you telling me to eat 1,200 calories a day? I'm going to ruin my hormones if I do a calorie deficit. I'm going to wreck my body if I do a calorie deficit. I'm like, whoa, slow down, hang out, hang on. Let's have a conversation about it. So that's really what I wanted to do, and just explain how all of this works. Now, this is not medical advice. It's not substitute for a consultation of any sort. It's just information. And if you want a deeper dive into this, I'm doing a challenge starting on January 6th. You can comment challenge below this video to get the details for that, where I'm going to take you through all of this in a more intensive way. But I'm going to give you a lot of information for free today in this live stream because I enjoy sharing this stuff. It's fun for me to talk about. So if you want information on that challenge that starts January 6th, just comment challenge and hopefully my automation software will send it to you. If it doesn't, it is the second link down in my bio. Okay, so I have a list here to keep myself on track. So the first thing I really want people to understand when it comes to weight loss and really comes to health in general, it's how healthy are your mitochondria? The mitochondria, you heard about it probably in school, or the powerhouse of the cell, make ATP. I look at it a little bit different. I think mitochondria is absolutely crucial and foundational to health and your ability to lose weight easily, your ability to be healthy easily. And so before anyone undergoes any sort of a weight loss program, right? Because I'm not going to act like if you go and take your calories down to 1,200 that you won't lose weight, because more than likely you will, but you probably won't feel so good. So this is how I approach it with people. I'm like, okay, let's look at your mitochondria. Let's look at how well those are performing, because your mitochondria doesn't see food as calories. It sees it as electrons, right? And electrons enter this electron transport chain in the mitochondria. That's how we make ATP. That's how we make water. It's step 4 of the electron transport chain, right? Food is one of the inputs, but we also have light, which is incredibly crucial. I've got my infrared light panel on here. That supports mitochondria. It supports this movement, this flow of energy through the electron transport chain in the mitochondria. So that's really important. So if someone has really poor mitochondrial function, guess what is going on with their metabolism? It's not going to work very well. Problem number 1, people are coming to weight loss programs with a really crappy lifestyle, And then they're not necessarily looking at it as like, I need to change my lifestyle. I need to make my whole life healthier. I just want to lose weight, right? And so it's a lot harder if you have poorly functioning mitochondria. If the energy moving through your cells essentially is not moving through there efficiently. So there's a lot of things that we can do before I say, let's slash your calories, let's put you in a calorie deficit. There's a lot of things that we need to be doing to give your body a foundation. And so, mitochondria make pregnenolone also, which makes cortisol. Cortisol is hugely important, and this was the year of cortisol face. My friend Sarah Hainsworth had a really funny post today about surviving the year marked safe from cortisol face in 2024. I mean, the viral cortisol mocktail drink. God bless Instagram. But here's the thing. With cortisol, if you are stressed out all of the time, if your body is pumping out too much cortisol at the wrong time of day, this will downregulate your thyroid. This will directly impact your leptin, which is responsible for appetite, for signaling on your body how much stored energy your body has to tell that to your brain. That will directly impact your thyroid. And so this whole cortisol craze, there's always I always say there's always a little bit of truth to some of this stuff that's out there, kind of mass hysteria, like, oh my God, cortisol. Yeah, we don't want to have elevated cortisol for a lot of reasons. It's one piece of the puzzle. So piece one, the way that I look at weight loss, the way that I look at health optimization, because you can't, if you work with me, if you come into my body of work and my colleagues like mine, Dr. Sarah Pugh, Carrie Bennett, some of these other people, we all see things very similarly, that it's health optimization. And as a byproduct of health optimization, healthy mitochondria, your body becomes more efficient at energy management. Therefore, weight loss becomes a lot easier. It's not this horrible uphill battle. So, of course, we are working on the inputs that we're giving the mitochondria. That's going to look like healthy circadian rhythms, red light therapy, or just going outside. If you can't spring for a red light therapy panel, you got tons of red light outside, even in the winter. An infrared light, near infrared light, far infrared light. All of those are very, very important to your mitochondria and how they function. We also need darkness at night. We need sleep. We need to optimize our melatonin production. These things are really crucial for this energy management system of your body that will, as a byproduct, allow weight loss to be a more effortless thing for you, will be helpful. So we start with, I'm looking down at my list to make sure I don't get too off track. We look at mitochondria, and then we start to look at master hormones. The 3 master hormones that I look at, and again, these need to be optimized in order for weight loss to not be so horribly difficult. Cortisol, melatonin, and leptin. We do that largely through circadian alignment, through darkness at night. Meal timing is important because this is, like I said in the very beginning, there's a whole camp of what I call the calorie bros, and there's calorie girls too. I won't call them calorie hoes, but there's fitness and health influencers out there that will scream at you till they're blue in the face, and they say, it is only calories. It is only calories. That's the only thing that matters. All you need to do is be in a calorie deficit. And I understand there's a little bit of truth to that. But if you're not looking at all these other things I'm talking about here, mitochondria, your master hormones, cortisol, melatonin, and leptin, it's going to be really hard to be in that calorie deficit. Your body is literally going to be fighting you. You're going to be exhausted. Again, there's always a little bit of truth. Not always, but a lot of times there's a little bit of truth to what people are saying, like with the whole cortisol craze that happened in 2024 with the viral cortisol mocktail everyone was trying to sell, their MLM. You don't want to have jacked up cortisol levels, but it's optimizing these hormones. It's optimizing your mitochondria so that weight loss, hey Clint, so weight loss is not so incredibly difficult. So first thing we look at, what signals, what inputs are you giving your mitochondria? I start with light, then darkness, light optimization during the day. Then we look at these, again, master hormones, cortisol, leptin, melatonin. We use things like nutrient-dense foods to help optimize and meal timing to help optimize these hormones and get them more in balance. I haven't even said a single thing to someone at this point about tracking, weighing, and measuring all their food and creating a calorie deficit But a lot of times people begin to optimize these things. And I say, all right, let's take out, and I know this is going to upset some people. Maybe it's worth doing another video about why I take out certain foods for people. It's important to know that these foods can further dysregulate leptin and further dysregulate some of these hormones. And we do this slowly. It's a process. So I'm always asking people, what is your diet like now? If someone's coming to me eating like a Ray Peat style diet, I'm not going to put them on a low carb diet right off the bat. That's a really, really big recipe for disaster. So you always have to ask the individual, what are you doing now? But for most people, again, for optimizing weight loss, for these things, we're going to look mitochondrial function. Let's really get that dialed in. Then we're going to look at these master hormones and the signals we're sending our master hormones. Part of those signals are going to be nutrient-dense food. Remember, mitochondria does not recognize food as Doritos or, an apple. It's electrons. It's energy, and it has to move through that electron transport chain. There's also a couple checkpoints before that food gets to the mitochondria. We're not going to get into that more advanced science lesson today, but it has to recognize this. And so if you're constantly sending your mitochondria food, like light is another form of food. If you're constantly sending your body these signals that it's a different time of day, different time of year than it actually is, your mitochondria has to deal with that. And so if you're eating bags of chips, highly processed foods, these really high deuterium foods, because deuterium is also part of this. This is something not a lot of people talk about in the alternative health space, is deuterium. My colleagues do. But in the wintertime, especially if you're eating foods that are loaded with deuterium, things like that are supposed to be grown in really high UV sunlight, or heavily processed foods with a lot of seed oils, things like that are very high in deuterium. Deuterium can accumulate in the mitochondria and slow down this energy flow. What does that do? In very simple terms, slows down your metabolism, slows down your body's ability to use energy, to make energy, and then burn it. And so, again, when we're looking at weight loss, we have to consider all of these things. So it's not diet culture. It's not like I want people to feel deprived. We're taking away these specific foods. This is just literally how your body works on this kind of quantum level with the mitochondria, with energy flow, with movement at the cellular level. So there's this whole world of Instagram where when you talk about removing processed foods with tons of ingredients that your body is like, what is this? They're like, oh, that's diet culture. All foods fit. You're going to deprive someone. You're going to send them into binge eating disorder. I'm like, no, this is, maybe my work is not for you. I want to talk about this from the lens of circadian biology and quantum biology, how weight loss works. So if you're just jumping on, I'm going to post this on my YouTube as well. So you'll be able to watch the replay there. It'll stay up here on the Instagram page. I'm doing a challenge starting on January 6th. A 21-day challenge, leptin challenge. If you want information on that, just comment challenge and hopefully my automation software will send it to you. If it does not, it's the second link down in my bio. So I've been talking again about these different things. We've talked about mitochondria as a baseline of, oh, we get thumbs up here. I still don't know why it does that. I made fireworks the other day somehow on my, oh, there they are again. Okay, Happy New Year. How do we know or check if our mitochondria is good? There's a lot of symptoms, right? Any type of fatigue, low energy, just essentially your body is not working well. You have a lot of inflammation going on in the body. Mitochondria are the root of most issues that happen in the body. It starts with poorly functioning cells, poorly functioning mitochondria, and it creates dysfunction within the body. And it's going to manifest differently depending on what your specific predispositions are, right? So I have in my family a big predisposition for obesity, like big time. I've even done genetic testing, which I go back and forth about buying so much into that stuff, knowing what I know about quantum biology, knowing what I know about the body and exclusion zone water. I think there's, like I said, there's a little bit of truth to everything, but I have a lot of obesity genes in my family, and I have a lot of obese people in my family. I love them dearly. but a lot of obese people in my family. So when my mitochondria are not working well, I'm just very I have a predisposition, I don't know why I couldn't say that word, to gain a lot of weight. That's just the way it is. So the way that I've been able to really get as lean as I have in my mid-40s is through this process of, number one, optimizing mitochondria. And it's the same, because I will get a lot of specific emails and messages if I have PCOS, or I have, I'm really deep into perimenopause, or I'm having really bad menopause symptoms, or I'm having this autoimmune condition. We are all going to start really with the same stuff, which is optimizing mitochondrial function. And then from there, optimizing these master hormones, cortisol, leptin, and melatonin. That's going to be done through light exposure, meal timing, and nutrient-dense foods. We're also going to temporarily, especially if your goal is weight loss, eliminate certain foods, right? Like sourdough bread. You guys, the sourdough bread trend is not is not on the leptin reset. I've had so many people, I'm doing your leptin reset, I'm not losing weight. Let's look at your diet. They're eating sourdough bread 3 times a day. And I don't have an issue with people eating sourdough bread once they get to goal, once they're once they're where they want to be. There's a place for that, as long as you don't have a Hashimoto's autoimmune condition that's aggravated by grains. I don't have a problem with it. I want the goal of all of this, right? Of course, get you to go to a weight where you feel happy, comfortable and confident, good in your own skin, but your body is resilient. And you can eat some sourdough bread if you want it. You can enjoy some food at Christmas like I've been doing this year. Now, you might not always feel amazing when you eat those things. Like I haven't gained a bunch of weight from having a few little things here and there during Christmas, but I don't feel awesome. I get a little lingering depression, just like, oh, why did I do that? Enjoyed it, but I'm not horribly inflamed the way that I used to be, and I haven't triggered myself into eating horribly for months on end and gaining a bunch of weight. So to know that you have poorly functioning mitochondria, typically your body's not running efficiently. You've got fatigue, you've got a lot of inflammation, stubborn weight, brain fog. There's a lot of symptoms, and they go hand in hand with low exclusion zone water as well, which is another big part of things. We discussed deuterium, right? So deuterium is a form of hydrogen, heavy form of hydrogen, and it's neither good nor bad. Everyone likes to label things good or bad. It's actually necessary for life. But the way that deuterium can accumulate in the mitochondria will slow down the mitochondria. So remember, for efficient energy production in the body, which is going to lead to weight loss, we want to optimize those mitochondria. So if you're eating a lot of high deuterium foods and your body is not in an environment where it can deplete deuterium, which would be high UV light, lots of sweating, lots of heat, lots of sunlight, that helps your body deplete deuterium. That's why high deuterium foods grow in high UV latitudes. It just makes biological sense. But if you're eating a lot of this stuff in the winter, deuterium can accumulate in the mitochondria and actually break the nanomotors and slow them down and jam them up. So again, you have poor energy production. So from this lens of circadian biology, quantum biology, the way that I look at weight loss is completely different. Again, from the standard, do a calorie deficit, call me in a few weeks. I don't do that with people. I want to optimize all these other things first. The last thing that I think is important is to optimize your exclusion zone water, because it is this battery of energy that your body has. And most people are dehydrated at a cellular level. So we have 99% of the cells in our body are surrounded by this exclusion zone water, which is like a battery of energy, right? And so things like Wi-Fi, non-native EMF, disconnection from the earth, I've got my red light panel on, lack of red infrared light, lack of sunlight. These things draw down your exclusion zone water. They pull down on that water. And that also leads to poor energy efficiency in the body. So just to recap for anyone jumping on, we've got things that we're looking at to optimize energy production in the body. So then we can look at weight loss, and it doesn't have to be this horrible, painful process. We've got optimizing mitochondrial function, the input that we give the mitochondria, which is nutrient-dense food, nutrient-dense light timing, appropriate darkness, We look at cortisol, melatonin, leptin, optimizing those hormones. We look at deuterium. Are you eating a very high deuterium diet at the wrong time of year? Your body's unable to deplete this deuterium. This is also causing a slowdown of your metabolism, essentially. Going to make it really hard for you to lose weight if you're just jamming mitochondria with deuterium. Now, if you're like, what the hell? If you want to fact check me, understand, look at deuterium a little bit further. Dr. Laszlo Boros is the guy. He's probably done over 1,000 different studies on this topic. And he has shown me the studies about seed oils being extremely high in deuterium. Supplements, some supplements are very high in deuterium. So it's a really interesting topic. And that's what we work to minimize. We don't have to eliminate it completely because it is a little bit necessary for life and for growth. But it's something that we talk about in my program. So cellular dehydration, deuterium, those hormones. Then if we have really, really gotten all these things dialed in, then I'm going to say, all right, let's look at what you're eating, what time you're eating. Okay. Let's look at the macronutrient breakdown. Protein is absolutely crucial. We have to have a good source of bioavailable protein. Very important for leptin signaling. We have to balance the blood sugar. Leptin actually signals the glucose insulin axis. So if we work on lifestyle, light meal timing, and these other things to help optimize leptin, it's not so difficult to really optimize blood sugar. But some people still need a little help, especially my ladies in perimenopause and menopause. They need to get some extra support, usually in that time, to see like, hey, maybe you're eating this food and it's spiking your blood sugar. It's a quote unquote clean food, but for whatever reason, your body is not okay with it right now. So we need to optimize other things. So I always work on dialing in the nutrition after I've dialed in these things, because if you just go straight into a diet, straight into a crash diet, but the energy management of your system of your body, which is your mitochondria, these master hormones, cortisol, leptin, melatonin, which all impact your thyroid, all of them impact your thyroid. Cortisol, melatonin both impact leptin, and this ability of leptin to communicate with the brain to give it this report of how much stored energy is on the body. So all these hormones really have to be optimized. Then we're going to look at bringing the food down. But I'll tell you what, a lot of people do my leptin program and I'm like, we're going to take away the sourdough bread. I'm very sorry. There's no sourdough bread on the leptin reset. We're going to take away the nuts and seeds. We're going to take away some things. We're going to stick to bioavailable protein, healthy fats. We will do some seasonal produce. If you're in an area where there is no seasonal produce available, we'll look at cellar stable produce. Someone asked me what I think about carnivore. It's not something I put somebody on right away. There are some coaches out there that will throw you straight into carnivore, and then when it doesn't work for people, they'll just scream at them and tell them they're doing it wrong, even when their hair is falling out and their thyroid's not working properly, and I'm not here for it. I actually get a lot of those people now, which is very frustrating. I'm very happy. Someone says, a sourdough baker, you ain't wrong, girlfriend. I mean, I love sourdough. I just actually went to lunch with my sisters, and I had a wonderful sandwich with sourdough bread a couple hours ago. So I am not a sourdough hater. I love it, but I'm very lean. I'm very leptin sensitive. I'm at my goal. So having a sandwich with sourdough bread is not going to ruin my life, you know? But if I was trying to reset my leptin, if I was trying to lose weight, that's something that would come off the table for a bit of time. Okay. And that's a hard conversation to have. Like, there's just these polarizing conversations online about weight loss. Can we do this while being plant-based vegan? I'll be honest with you, it's very difficult to do it plant-based vegan because I do heavily rely upon protein, because protein and leptin, when you look at the literature and just clinically how I've worked with people, we need that protein to assist with leptin signaling, to get that signaling back on board. And if you're plant-based vegan, maybe if you live on the equator, maybe if you're outside in tons of UV light and you're connected to the earth and drinking natural spring water all day long and getting lots of sunlight because you're getting electrons other ways than your food, then it might work. Yeah. Sourdough will not spike sugar levels when lean, healthy, and active. Right. that's where we want to get to. We want to get to resilient. We want to get to metabolically flexible and metabolically healthy. So if you want to go and have a sandwich with some sourdough bread, or you want to have your eggs and bacon and the sourdough bread at breakfast, then you can. But to get there, it's going to be helpful for a lot of people that we take it away for a little bit and get your blood sugar in a really good place and work on slowly building in that metabolic flexibility. There is a methodology to this. So it's most people that are, if you're overweight, if you're leptin resistant, there's typically going to be a blood sugar issue that's going to come along with this. And it's something that we have to work on. Let me scroll up to here a little bit. There were a few questions. I know someone wanted to know about migraines. I've actually had quite a few ladies come through the leptin reset with really bad migraine issues. And that's just doing the sunlight protocol. A lot of them didn't make huge dietary changes, but we did get rid of the processed foods. That's got to be a must. You got to get rid of the processed foods. I'm not an all foods fit gal. There are coaches out there that are all foods fit, but I am not one of them. I'm going to tell it to you straight. You got to eat really good high quality protein, high quality fat, and you've got to eat seasonal produce as you can tolerate it. How does this work if you have an existing thyroid condition? Now, of course, none of this is medical advice or meant to be taken as such, just information. But if you go to the highlights section of my profile here on Instagram, and I also just redid my website, I have a ton of testimonials there. I've had a lot of people come through the Leptin Reset program over the last 3 years now, since it's been out, that have come off of thyroid medications, or they've reduced them immensely. I've had women with Hashimoto's thyroid antibodies over 1,000 get them down under 100, and even some down to 0. And so, you know, everyone has like a unique health situation that they're dealing with. But the tenets of how we work with the body doesn't have to be this complicated system, contrary to what you've been told on social media about the body. Yes, we sometimes need to make tweaks and adjustments for people. But it starts with mitochondria. It starts with these master hormones, cortisol, leptin, melatonin, because leptin signals your thyroid. Leptin signals your immune system. Leptin signals even like creating healthy bones. Leptin is involved. There's leptin receptors in the heart. Leptin in the reproductive system, because someone asked about fertility issues. Yes, I have had a lot. I've had a lot of leptin reset babies. We have a 47-year-old in my group right now who had a baby, and I think a 45-year-old who has a newborn right now, and another 44-year-old who's pregnant. So I have a good amount of leptin reset babies in the program. I have a fertility course also that I do with my partner, Carrie Bennett. So yes, because it's all connected, right? Your overall health is your fertility health, is your hormone health. And so this carries through perimenopause, this carries through menopause, this carries through those reproductive age, you know, it all works the same. And weight loss is a part of this. But I think when a lot of people hear me talk about weight loss, like I said yesterday, if you're just joining, I did a post yesterday on Instagram. It was like a 10-slide post. And I said, hey, you know, there's no way around. If you want to lose weight, you have to be in a calorie deficit. And my private community just went a little bit wild last night. I love you girls, but y'all kind of went a little bit wild in the group, being upset and triggered over this post, which is what prompted me to do this live stream today, because a lot of people saw that and said, oh my God, Sarah's telling us we have to eat 1,200 calories a day. We have to ruin our hormones in order to lose weight. And that is definitely not the case. That is definitely not the case. And just to kind of go back, I haven't counted a single calorie. I haven't tracked a single thing. And right now I'm about 130 pounds. Before I got pregnant, I was probably about 160 pounds, right? So I'm now 30 pounds lighter than when before I got pregnant in January 2022. And that is just through doing this work. And I've been doing this work consistently. Doing this work consistently is what helped me get pregnant. So I really started doing this circadian work, circadian biology, quantum biology, and integrating it with clients at that time in 2021. So I've been doing this for a long time. So when I had the baby, I kept doing it. When I was pregnant, I kept doing it. There was modifications, of course, for pregnancy and breastfeeding. And now I'll be 46 next year. So I'm definitely hitting that perimenopausal phase. It's knocking on the door. I know it's there. And so I'm still continuing to use this work to navigate that. And I have a lot of women in my group that come into the group with hot flashes, with a lot of perimenopausal symptoms. And we really work to optimize these basics first. And it's tremendously helpful. So I hope this made sense. If you're just jumping on, I wanted to let you know I have an early bird special that ends tonight. I'm doing a 21-day leptin reset challenge that starts on January 6th, where there'll be 3 Zoom calls and support, extra help and support for me. If you comment challenge below this video, I'll send you the link for that. But if there's any other questions I can answer, I'd be happy to. If you're just jumping on, I'll leave this posted so you can go back and watch it from the beginning. But I just wanted to talk about weight loss from this place of circadian biology and quantum biology and how we look at it differently. Because if you just go at it from diet alone, and that's what I did for my entire life, literally my entire life, even when I was doing carnivore, because I did carnivore for 2 years straight. So I have a lot of experience doing carnivore and also coaching carnivore. Coached a lot of people around the world doing carnivore in 2020 and 2021 as well. And so I know a lot about how that all shakes down, how it works for some people, doesn't work for certain other people. If I recently purchased the 21-day reset, can I still join the challenge? Yes. If you own the 21-day leptin reset, select the option that says calls only. And there's an early bird special for that as well. So if you get the calls only, if you already have the program, you'll get a daily email. And you'll also get those 3 Zoom calls and an opportunity to ask questions as you go through the program. And I've redone the program as well. So I originally released the leptin reset in 2022, that summer, after doing it with myself and with my clients for a solid year and creating strategies and protocols around this whole optimize mitochondria, optimize master hormones, give your body the correct signals. And the weight loss typically happens as a result of that. Now, again, some people, we got to dial it in. We got to tweak it up a little bit. I'm fully here for it and ready to support those people. But a lot of people will just start dropping the weight once we optimize these things. And then they'll see other things happen. Like, wait a minute, I'm not getting facial hair anymore for my ladies. I know my men still probably want the facial hair. Or, wait a second, I'm not having hot flashes anymore. Wait a minute, I'm in menopause and I slept through the night for the first time in 15 years. You can go to my website and check out the testimonials, and I have testimonials on my highlight page also. But I have just recently redone the program as of October of this year. So if you bought the program back in 2022 and you haven't done it since then, I've redone the whole thing as of October 2024. So it's totally redone. And there's a lot of new information in there. Yes, I'm in the USA right now, and I'm shocked at the amount of processed food in the it's terrible. It's terrible. My friend, Dr. Sarah Pugh, she's basically lived with us for half the year. She's from the UK. She's like, I can't go to the stores here. My husband would take her to the stores kind of like as a field trip, and she just would, what is this? She would take photos of all the pictures in the stores because the amount of junk. And it's after you do this for a while, you don't even register that stuff as food anymore. And then the cruel joke, it's not really a cruel joke, but I'd love to hear anybody that's listening if they've had this experience. But I've been on the no processed foods, if it doesn't have a mother or grow from the ground, I'm not eating it train for many years. That's what helped me reverse Hashimoto's 10 years ago. All I did was just get rid of the processed foods. So I haven't really eaten those foods in a decade, but every now and then I'm like, oh, that candy. I used to love that candy as a child, and I'll try a little bit, and it tastes literally like chemicals. I mean, it's so disgusting. It shocks me. Every single time it shocks me that I'm like, oh my God, I used to love that candy. I used to love that food. And I know that supposedly they've changed the ingredients in a lot of these foods as well, and a whole thing that's been coming out all over the internet lately. But yeah, it's pretty shocking. It's pretty shocking. Yeah, and people are sick. They don't know where to begin, and so, and fragrances, oh my gosh, yeah, I can't handle fragrances. I will immediately get a headache with any kind of fragrance or any kind of cleaning product too, because our cleaning products, we use Branch Basics. I make a lot of my own cleaning products with vinegar. So if I walk into a place with air fresheners or someone who's like sprayed a bunch of perfume all over themselves, I will immediately get a headache. It's wild. Which is, that's another thing I want to chat about since we're hanging out. I do need to get off here and get my son up from his nap in a little bit. But, another thing about weight loss is a heavy toxic burden and having those detox pathways open, because a lot of people have been loading their bodies up with processed foods, with perfumes, with tons of makeups. I don't wear makeup. I wear a little bit of mascara and sometimes a little bit of mineral powder, but and I don't think I'm better than anybody for doing that. I just don't like how it feels. But people have been putting all this stuff on their bodies for years and years and years. Their liver is very burdened. And so getting your detox pathways open, and we have a whole day on that in the Leptin Reset, a whole lesson on that, I think is important too. See, I walked into a Lowe's and had to leave after 20 minutes because I felt, people get headaches with fragrance. Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know. But for years, I would do all the makeup and the hairsprays and the Bath and Body Works. I loved going to Bath and Body Works as a teenager. I'm showing my age here. And I love perfume. CK1. I had CK1. That was my that was my perfume when I was in my 20s, I think. And now if I smell fragrance, I feel terrible. So when you go in layers, and the thing is, I don't expect anybody to do everything all on day one and transform and become this new person on day one. You have to meet people where they are. And I hope to see more of that. Yeah, going into that store is an instant migraine and almost puking. Yeah, I honestly try to avoid going to stores as much as possible. My husband makes fun of me because he's like, oh, you never leave the house unless you're going outside. Yes. All right, everyone. Well, I'm going to leave this on my profile and I'll try to upload it to my YouTube if I have a chance as well. But I hope this was helpful just to kind of break down this whole calorie deficit thing and understand weight loss a little bit better. We really want to optimize these higher level things first so that we're not going in and just like slashing calories right away. Oh, my red light just went off. We're not going in and just like cutting people's calories down, That's a really great way to set people up to fail because they haven't established that connection between the stored energy on the body and the brain. And we want to reestablish that first. We want to get the mitochondria healthy again first and appropriately signaling, really maximize that energy management system of the body first. And then a calorie deficit doesn't have to look like eating 1,200 calories a day, nor would I recommend that. But sometimes we do have to look at bringing things down and getting rid of certain foods for certain periods of time and stop giving things halos. And I'll say one more thing, stop eating sticks of butter. It's not helping you lose weight. I might take some hate for that one, but sourdough bread, eating sticks of butter, taking dates and stuffing them with butter, none of those things are going to be helpful if you're trying to lose weight. In my program anyway. Maybe you can go to someone else's program and do it, but I haven't seen it work very well for people. So, all right, everyone have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll save this on my page. And if you want to join my 21-day Leptin Reset live challenge that starts on January 6th, just comment challenge. There's an early bird that goes through tonight, December 28th. You can save $50 on that. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.